Penn Trafford had 1 incomplete pass. McKeesport, I think, maybe had 2 or 3.
Okay, so we're streaming right now.
Very minimal penalties.
No.
So,
Oh my gosh, I was so freaking scared.
you guys on the air?
I was waiting for her.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to tell me when you are so I can put your audio.
From O'Block Junior High School to join the band during tonight's pregame show. These young musicians will be members of the marching band within the next few years, and we welcome them to perform side by side with our current members of the band. We would also like to welcome or wish a happy birthday to saxophone player Megan Walker. Please stand, and gentlemen, please remove your hats for the playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
Nearing the 1,000-yard time. The quarterback, Tymar Sutton, also done a great job running the ball.
You mentioned the number of Plum rushers that get their balls, get their hands on the ball, and then you look at the McKeesport team, they've only attempted a total of 15 passes this season, so it could be a lot of running tonight, Don. Should be a fun one. Number 5 McKeesport, number 10 Plum, kicking off here at 7 o'clock.
High School alma mater. Let's get loud in the stadium and join in cheering for our Plum Mustangs.
First time the Trump since
I don't know what height. No. I mean, like, it's still like upward. I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to, like, not how it's raising up.
Oh, you want it higher?
No. There we go.
Oh, to make it so it. Oh,
So
okay.
it doesn't. Sorry. I think I'm gonna have to move, so I'm not in great soil. Like, I think I'm gonna have to move everything over this way.
I think I'm going to get healthy too.
Your Mustangs!
I'm glad you're turning it on.
Backing him up, Kevin Brown did a great job. He's going to use some tricks as a wild card as well. Whenever he's going to go Pierce done a great job as well. The senior quarterback really has taken on a great leadership role and orchestra in this offense.
And for the Plum Mustangs are also going to have
They play one more song, don't they? Don't they play one more song? I got yelled at last time for talking over the one song. Hey, Chaz, doesn't the band still play one song? Doesn't the band still play one song?
A team that doesn't pass the ball a lot and really not play a lot. A lot of times it's very successful. So chasing the football to come back and haunt them. The one thing was very apparent mission of one
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a Friday night, so are you ready for some football? Tonight, WPIAL Quad A section showdown with second place soul on the line between the Tigers of McKeesport and your Plum Mustangs. Reminder that you're paid admission tonight. This event allows you to enjoy the exhibition of skills developed by our students in educational settings. So please give these students your positive encouragement and support. No booing, taunting, or intimidating officials or opponents is acceptable. We ask all spectators to display good sportsmanship at all times and to adhere to the following rules. It's a policy of Plum Borough School District that all forms of tobacco and use of alcohol and drugs are prohibited on all school premises. All those in attendance are asked to cooperate and abide by this policy. Fans are reminded that no re-entry passes will be issued at halftime. You leave, you're going home. McKeesport will receive the kickoff.
You got rosters?
There's one back there. You need it?
No, I got these two. I just need you to tell me who made a tackle.
Okay.
Back to Plum High School for tonight's matchup. Between number 5 McKeesport and number 10 Plum.
Tonight's game
McKeesport has elected
will be on the highlight show at KDKA News at 11 o'clock. Also, we are the MSA Game of the Week. You can enter to MSAsports.net. MSA Sports, the exclusive 2014 home of the WPIAL football playoff and championship games. Once again, MSA Sports Network.
Please get to that 20.
Talk about that game.
That's 12.
So the school got 51
This was to happen.
There's a passport.
Jackie's kick those the end zone for a touchback. McKeesport will start first and 10 from their own 20.
Beneficial on the kickoff now, and the other team's not going to get an
I got to find the officials. Give me that sheet. I ain't got it for next play. I got to do this once. Alright, you brought it up to me. You know what you're doing, right? Smarter. Who made the tackle? Who gets the ball?
He has 46 carries, 131 yards, with 3 touchdowns on the season. He will be under center on first down. Movement, and the handoff is to the up man.
Number 21, the ball carrier for McKeesport, Kaliki Hudson. Gain of almost 5, tackled by.
Really, he was banged up last year. They barely used him in that Hopewell game. They allowed him to rest a little bit. They knew that they were going to need him tonight, so expect to hear his name a lot. And as I mentioned, he can hit the home run in terms of the big games. He also is a very powerful running back in the football team.
You missed a tackle. What? You have one job. Let's go, Rossi.
I got you.
Get on the stick here.
It's funny. You hit two.
Yeah, give me 2. One go watch your offense, one go watch defense.
Field is Smith. Now getting under center.
Takeaway time! Mustang ball! Recovered by Mustang. Number 64.
Picking up about a yard on the play.
Coxon.
Mustang ball carrier, number 8, Ned Coxon.
He missed the Kissy game, obviously, the Mustangs offense, been missing too much.
Short gain, second down.
Back in. He's recovering from an injury, but they said he's going to be able to play one
Can't say
duration
game
of this one, expecting to be workhorse this evening.
True. It sound right.
All right, do the best you can.
Scrimmage will be second down and 10. Here for Plum. Here is a small snap behind him, and now he's just going to play catch up, and he's going to get hit for a big loss. He's going to lose about 7 or 8 yards on the play.
Mustang fumble recovered by incomplete, intended for number 81, Patrick Crossy. There's a fourth down for the Mustangs.
It's been a pretty prolific receiver for the Mustangs. A rare mistake there.
There he goes. He did that last week.
Had plenty of time back
Oh,
there.
you get one. He put him out there.
Cross just couldn't hang on. Looks like they're going to
Attempting
go for the
51-yard field goal attempt. Shaffy.
He hit 51 last week.
Yeah, they saw make it to go last week.
Good protection.
Or Chaplin here tonight.
He got it. He got it.
Making just short. McKeesport takes over on the missed field goal attempt. First and 10 on their own 34. Officials for today's game, the head referee is Bill Heitkamp. Linesman is Dave Pepperello. Field judge is Ryan Barnhart. Umpire is Jim Connolly. The
That's not in high school. That's not college.
Yeah, gotta get the end zone. Right.
It's like playing backyard football. I thought the end zone was
If he missed anyway.
Yeah.
Here comes the big play up to the 40, 45, and just out of bounds.
number 21, Kaliki Hudson, the ball carrier for McKeesport. Tackled by number 24, Nick Robb.
And then pitch it out to Hudson.
Gain for McKeesport is to their own 48. First down, Tigers.
And that time was a good decision by Smith.
That's what Bella did.
Leaky's funny. I think it's better.
All right, Kalik, I want to spit out the name on purpose. So who's behind the quarterback? 21. Come on, D.
Flags down. That'll start on McKeesport.
Penalty on McKeesport, third person.
That's the Tigers up 5, first and 15 from their own 43.
Penalties were an issue for McKeesport early in the season. They were able to overcome them in a few of their early victories. For George Smith, not happy with what he saw in terms of penalties.
We just can't seem to. They gave us a gift. That bad snap cost us at least 3. Chucky would have made it for us.
Take time out or stop and play. Turn off the scoreboard or turn it back on.
I believe they marked it for 20. And I'm not sure what high school.
22 is the ball carrier.
Number 22, Mark Camardi, the ball carrier for McKeesport. Tackled by number 14, Andrew Soxman. Gain of 1. Second down and 14.
Dodge the ball there after they turn over deep in their own territory. Able to hold the Mustangs, not allow them to pick up the first down. The long field goal attempt nearly went through.
That was 22,
They
huh?
dodged the ball with that early turnover. Now they have the offense rolling.
Got the ball.
Handoff inside.
Number 21, Billy Hudson, the ball carrier. Followed by number 35, Zach Martin. Brings up a long third down for McKeesport. Third and a long 12 for their own 46.
That one's been very rarely facing certain long situations, it's difficult to convert just by running the football.
They just told me something.
Very good. Very good. Start down first. Coming here from the east side. Over the head. Taiwan Smith, he is able to recover, but it's going to be on the opposite side of the foot.
Punt is down by McKeesport. Number 46. Taiwan Smith. Plum takes over. First down at their own 46.
A 30 disaster there, although it's going to be good field position for the Mustangs.
I'd like to take a minute to just thank our sponsors this year. Premier Medical Associates for their support of Plum Athletics. Premier Medical Associates, take control of your health care and building better care. Also, Farmers Insurance, we believe in smarter coverage. The more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. Find your local agent, Kyle Simmons, 724-244-5796.
First down and 10 with the referee's just waiting. 5-second clock also is not running, and now it is.
All right, he's back there with him now.
Here with 6:28 to go in the first quarter. And the ball off, trying to go right side and cut back.
No, that's 8. It's Coxon again. Right? Peter's 81. Peter Coxon kicks. Yeah, that was Coxon.
Dick Coxon, the ball carrier. Gain of a long one. Second and short, 9.
Everybody tackles. You guys, you know, DJ Martin, you guys are killing me right now.
Steve.
Second down and 8 coming up. Here from the 47-yard line. Burr under center, power eye behind him. And they hand it to the up man this time. And trying to push his way through. About a 3-yard.
Mustang. Across the midfield.
It's out.
Who was that?
Should we shut that one off?
20 for Plum.
When one's off,
Ellen
you
White.
should have both off.
Tackle by number 30. Fabian Brown. Gain is to the McKeesport 48.
3rd and 4 coming up here.
3rd and 3.
Burr's on the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right and 1 to the left. And the running back beside him. Now he's going to flank the running back out to the right.
You can't have one on.
Well, they should. Are they talking here first down there? They have to call it.
Jared Fox to face Ashton Peter.
Yeah.
To the McKeesport 40-yard line.
Who is Mr. Nate? Clock, 25 seconds. Clock.
Yeah, it's Peter.
25 seconds.
They're number 2.
Tackled by number 2 for McKeesport.
That one
Julian
operating
Payne.
on there. They say
First down, Mustangs!
Right. No, I think they're telling you from down below you should have them both off. When one's off, they're both off.
First down and 10.
See, if you're really going for a hard time, you're trying to get that defense to jump outside.
Hand it off. Vicious hit.
Zach Martin's 35, Teeter's 23, Cox is 8, Sox is 14. I know most of them are 2 from linebacker position.
Direct snap to number 14, Andrew Soxman. Tackle made by McKeesport's number 21, Malik Hudson. That results in a loss of 2 at the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 from the McKeesport 41.
Let's get 58 yards.
3.5 to go here.
Let's pick up half of it. He didn't miss by much. The ball goes in 20, so I'd let it kick
from the 41-yard
Nothing here.
He gets right and 2 to the left. For Will Fuhr.
Who's down here at the bottom? Who's so tight end?
Shotgun looking deep. Goes deep with that and he overthrows.
Here's pass intended for Teeter is incomplete. 4th down for the Mustangs.
Sean Robinson and Mark Cromartie on the fence that time.
Yeah, and you're taking a shot down the field, as you mentioned.
Zach Nolan, right? Is that 85?
Tigers.
On the punt for the Mustangs, grade 5, Zach Nolan.
Both offenses really struggling to sustain drives and really
From McKeesport, number 2, Jordan Payne.
Who's that, 21?
No score.
I need you guys to pick.
Fair catch. Did it hit him?
22.
It may have hit Cromartie and
McKeesport's number 22, Mark Cromartie, recovers his own fumble at the McKeesport 18. The first down and 10 for McKeesport. Also like to thank East Suburban Sports Medicine for their partnership with Plum Athletics. East Suburban 21, Hudson. Taken by number 85, Zach Nolan. Brings up 4th down for McKeesport.
Yeah, it looks like about half a yard potentially, and obviously just deep in their own territory. The Tigers.
Who's the punter ball?
Rossi deep for the punt for the Mustangs.
Big stuff there after the nice game by Hudson in the first time. Plays Plum does a good job defensively.
Yeah, he's our quarterback.
Tyrone Smith.
Pulling the football away and back to receive it.
Taiwan's first punt is out of bounds. Mustangs will take over just inside their own 35.
1:20 to go here. No score.
Remind you, tonight's game is being broadcast on the MSA Sports Network. You can listen to the game anytime you want by clicking on to www.msasports.net. The exclusive home for the 2014 WPIAL football playoff and championship games is the MSA Sports Network. And also don't forget KDKA Channel 2, which show highlights of this game at 11 o'clock.
Is that Sox or Cox? Is that Nick Robb or Nick Cox?
Fake handoff this time. First, he's brought down. Read well by the Sunsport in on the stop.
Busted up your tackle back at 20. Line number 20 for McKeesport, Tyrone Bynum. There's also a loss of 12, 13, second down and 23 for their own 22.
13-yard loss on that first down.
They had it open if he
Didn't have time. He had absolutely no time.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
Two broken down plays with the flea flicker to follow. It's not a low snap. He's able to recover enough.
Number 8, Nick Coxon carries across the 25. Tackled by number 8 for McKeesport, Sean Robinson. 3rd down from their own 26, upcoming for the Mustangs.
Short yardage is still now going to be a 20 situation. It seems you're taking a few shots down the field, but you don't want to try to force something here against this very speedy and athletic defense.
That's where we will start in quarter number 2. No score.
At the end of the first quarter of play, McKeesport Tigers 0, your Plum Mustangs 0. Also want to mention that this Monday, October 13th, at Anthony's Cold Fire Pizza in Moroville, the Plum High School senior cheerleaders will have a fundraising event. 20% of all the checks goes to support the girls' t-shirt. Also, they are selling t-shirts at the main gate this evening. And the junior varsity cheerleaders will be canning for breast cancer. We contribute to that fine cause.
That's it. My announcements, right?
Also remind to support Plum High School Boosters football by playing the 50-50 raffle. 2 weeks ago for homecoming, the jackpot was $856, won by a lucky Irishman. To support the Plum Boosters, have a chance to win, you gotta pay to play.
Third down and 20 here for the Mustangs from the 26-yard line. Going to his left. Looks like he's going to keep it himself. Now Meyers downfield, and it's over the head of the intended target.
Your pass is incomplete.
That was Bynum again putting the pressure on. It's very difficult when the quarterback rolls like that.
Here's a 4th down. Number 26 for the Mustangs. Zach Nolan in the punt. Back deep for McKeesport, number 22. And number 2, Jordan Brown.
Where's
25 yards.
You mentioned you made that one nice run, really doing crossing turn and hang on. The last two throws, not really.
Murdy and Payne.
Very close to
Yeah,
being
that's
complete.
a
You
middle
mentioned he
night.
struggled to pick up yardage on the back of this. McKeesport's defense has been all over him.
Right in front of
Zach's going punt down at the from McKeesport 41-yard line.
down the football about the 42-yard line.
Net punt of 33 yards. First down for McKeesport from just inside their own 42.
He's a very impressive player. Really a standout on the hardwood for this McKeesport team. He's a receiver because he's able to get the ball in the direction. He has to put up great statistics. He's very dangerous when he gets the ball in his hands. They try to get him involved a little.
All right. Watch who makes his tackles and get his crowd fired up and making kicking hits. Make some hits here, boys.
The quarterback, number 5, Colin Smith, the keeper. Tackled by number 7, Bill Irvin. Loss of almost 2. Second down and short 12.
That time he was not full. They mentioned so much about gap responsibility. The Mustangs can't be chasing the football. If they do, McKeesport will have that last competition. Be able to burn for those long ones at that time. Well played by Irvin and brought down Smith for a short loss.
Mustangs play, take away, first down, Mustangs!
Number 22 to 26. Who's that right there?
Fumble recovered by number 28, Nathan Kurchik. First down, Mustangs!
Six come with it. All right, you gotta watch for him next time. That's 10 more. Come on, guys. Keep it simple. Get back to your basics. Don't beg for snaps. Socksman, direct snap, right?
Yeah.
Number 14, Andrew Soxman, the direct snap. Gain of 3 to McKeesport 40. Tackled by a herd of Tigers. Second and 7.
Like I said, that right?
Yeah, you can say that.
Last week he played defense primarily. He's a pretty good offensive lineman, but he's struggling to snap.
Why is there no play
First time I was both of them on. Sometimes
The ones out
back
there, that one's out
At a pro state, I can see that. That's stupid here. No people on the field, I assume that, right?
40-yard line.
Like the rest down the back.
Sox keeps again.
Soxman direct snap carries again down to the 35. Tackled by McKeesport's number 58, Joe Krim. Third down and a long 2 for the Mustangs coming up from just outside the McKeesport 35.
And right here, you have to think the Mustangs once again are almost in field goal range. Just
Keep on
beyond,
running
just
here.
beside you, 35.
You gotta start establishing the will. I will not throw it. I keep on
Chaplain's
it.
way. Certainly is a make-believe. They did not
Because we're not going to get to the outside. They're too quick. We have to
And
impose your will, boys. Come on.
How many yards they get on this play? 3rd and 3. Coming up.
Sox under center.
I wonder if Willie got hurt on that one hit. Has Willie been out there?
Andrew Soxman, the ball carrier. Tackled by number 5 from McKeesport, Juan Smith. Move those sticks! First down, Mustangs!
He got laid out down here.
What?
Remember he got laid out that one pass he threw?
Yeah, I don't see him there.
had a nice campaign in his own
He's probably back in the field low with us. That's probably missed it. Yep, that's no, that sucks, right?
Sox, yeah.
Number 8, Nick Coxon.
Coxon, the ball carrier from just outside the Mustang 30. Tackle made by the McKeesport number 58, Joe Krim, and number 2, Jordan Payne.
Big difference, a big advantage that Mustangs have. They have a big
Second down, a long 8.
So they want to make sure they're careful with football here. This one still spoils, but they're going to have an opportunity to get on the board once they take some significant loss.
Road Dog. That was Road Dog getting us nonsense. He's right here. I was watching to see if he got up. You don't mess around. Socks. Oh, I tripped over his own guy.
Andrew Stocksman, the ball carrier, number 14 for the Mustangs inside the McKeesport 29. Tackle made by McKeesport number 21, Malik Hudson. Brings up third down for the Mustangs and a short 7.
7. This is 29, right? Scoreboard wrong. Third and a short 7, long 6. He's in between the 2.
It's in the middle. You round up.
Short 7, long 6.
Cox, and he was falling down. I don't think he quite got there, though. I think he's going to be a yard short. Nice play there defensively that time by Tymar Smith to make him make a move. He had to go left and just couldn't quite get there.
You mentioned Cox, and it looked like he was losing his footing as he was catching that football. Subsequently couldn't turn it upfield, and it's going to be well short here. Looks like the Mustangs are going to try another field goal.
A 41-yarder.
He's going to be about 2 yards shy.
41-yard attempt here for Chapla. I mentioned he booted a 51-yarder in their victory over Connellsville a week ago.
And on the kick, he's got the leg for it. Is it good? And it is. Plum is on the board. They're up 3-0 with 6:55 to go here in the second quarter. It's the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
Life is about having the confidence to know you can do anything right. I get that at Carlo.
I graduated with top awards, but beyond the classroom, Carlo helped me learn a lot about myself.
Carlo brings out the best in you.
I know I'm going to be a fantastic nurse.
I know whatever I come across, I'll be prepared.
I can't think of a better place to start the rest of my life, because at Carlo, I know I matter.
I matter.
I matter.
Enroll at Carlo University. Visit carlo.edu.
It is 3-0. Plum leads McKeesport with 6:55 to go here in quarter number 2. Tonight's game is brought to you by East Suburban Sports Medicine Center. Feel better, play better, live better. So Sean, Plum gets on the scoreboard, and now McKeesport, after 2 turnovers here in this first half, is going to need the answer.
Yeah, and that second turnover allowed the Mustangs to get on board. Plum took over on the 43-yard line of the Tigers after recovering that fumble, and ultimately came down to a 41-yard field goal by Chapla. So the Mustang offense not necessarily getting the job done. Their defense is putting them in beneficial field positions. That time it pays off for 3.
Another deep kick. It's going to go over the head of Cromartie, and he's another touchback.
And Greg, it really is such a weapon to have a field goal kicker or a punter or someone on the kickoffs that has a leg like Chapla. It really adds a new dimension to your entire team, and what a benefit that is for the Mustangs, and certainly they've taken full advantage of it.
Coming up at the half, it's the MSA Sports Halftime Show. This week, Dawn Rebel and Mike White of the Post-Gazette co-hosts another edition of Excuse Me and That. Love that Pittsburghese, right?
Absolutely.
First down and 10 for McKeesport. Smith is going to hand off the football to Hudson, and he almost broke one free until the huge tackle made. And that was by Nick Robb. He picked him up high in the air.
Yeah, Hudson's a big body, but he went high in the air that time. Absorbed a pretty big hit. It looks like he's okay. Though, is that him checking out now, or is he still in the contest?
Looks like he is still out there to the right indeed. Of Smith. He picks up 8 yards, makes it second down and 2 for the Tigers. And it looks like a little confusion there at the moment, but now it could break into a big play. Hudson up to the 40 and pushed out of bounds near the 45-yard line. First down, McKeesport.
Smith absorbed the big hit, the quarterback there, but pitched it to Hudson just in time. Hudson able to get to the outside, turn it upfield, and pick a nice gain as he gets out to the 46-yard line.
18 yards on the run. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 46.
So far, Plum's done a nice job defensively containing this explosive offense of McKeesport, but really the big issue has been the turnovers and ball control for the Tigers.
Hudson again is going to get the football. Breaks one tackle, but is not going to break the second. And he's going to get brought down on a play. Once again, Nick Robb on the stop. Pick up about a yard for Hudson.
A nice job there by Robb. As you mentioned, Hudson is starting to lose his balance as he got turned sideways. They would pick up some positive yards, but not very much. And that's important for the Mustangs. McKeesport gets in that 2nd and short situation. It really makes them a dangerous team. If you hold them to a 2nd and 9, which is the current situation, kind of limits what they can do a bit.
Hudson faked the end around that time, and then Smith kept it, pitched out to Cromartie. Flag on the play. He gets up past the 50, down about the 48-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is. Looks like it'll be coming back. It will be on McKeesport.
And maybe about a quarter and a half too late, Greg, but I did talk to head coach George Smith a few weeks ago. He said it's Cromartie is the pronunciation.
Cromartie, I apologize.
My mistake on that one, but figure better late than never on that correction.
Well, thank you for the correction. We'll get it right for the rest of the game. My apologies. So a good run by Cromartie that time, Sean, but it's backed up by the holding call.
Yeah, tough call. We mentioned McKeesport really battled a lot of penalties early in the season that proved costly that time. It's really going to back them up. This is going to be a very difficult 2nd and 22 situation. What you're trying to do here is you can't pick up all 22 yards most likely on this one. Just try to get maybe 8, 10, 12 yards to make that 3rd down much more manageable.
Handoff once again to Cromartie. He's going to get up through the middle to about the 42, so a nice hard run that time to get about 8 yards.
Yeah, and they've used him a lot here in this first half, and he's had some success when he's been able to hold on to the football. He entered the contest just shy of 300 yards rushing, although that was good for 4th on the team, as we mentioned. Tymar Sutton, Tywan Smith, Khalid Hudson all ahead of him, so a lot of guys picking up positive yards on the ground for the season for McKeesport. They've really tried to use Cromartie a lot in this first half.
Another 3rd and long situation here for McKeesport. They can't seem to get out of these 3rd and longs. Smith pitches to Hudson. Hudson's going to throw the football wide open, and making the catch at the 20-yard line is Jordan Payne. Great play design that time by McKeesport. Payne got wide open.
Yeah, and Hudson already has a long touchdown pass to his credit this season on a similar type of play. He has 97 yards passing on 2 attempts, and basically it's to catch this the defense off guard. That time, Payne, the man we mentioned, a very talented receiver when he has the opportunity. He had to hold up for that ball a little bit. It was under his run, but he was able to come back to it, make the catch. Nearly got into the end zone, ultimately got tripped up on the 18, but that's the big strike that the Tigers needed with under 4.5 minutes remaining in this first half.
A gain of 40 yards from Hudson to Payne. And with 4:15 to go and counting, McKeesport looks to try to add some points to the scoreboard, as now Smith will keep it himself, and he will be brought down. May have lost a yard on the play. Nick popped Rocky on the stop.
They're going to call that one no gain.
Loss of 1 back to 19, 2nd and 11.
Or they will call it loss of 1. Either way, it's going to be a negligible amount as this McKeesport defense now just inside the red zone.
Smith under center. Gonna bring Hudson around, and he's gonna pitch it out to Cromartie, and he's gonna end up losing yards, and quite a few too. and getting a little chippy towards the end of the play that time. The tackle was made by Zach Martin, and then Martin and Caleb Shively get into it towards the end of the play, but a big loss for McKeesport.
And that one maybe a little too complex of a play call as it goes for a big loss. Once again, McKeesport finds itself in a very difficult situation on third down. This one a 3rd and 18 situation.
Loss of 8 yards. And fake the handoff. Smith's going to look to throw, and he's going to get sacked. Sack on the play that time for Plum. Billy Ball Baird, you mentioned him on offense, makes a big play on defense.
Yeah, it looks like he's over that injury now with that play. That's very athletic of the defensive lineman, and a big play there as McKeesport's backed up to the 35, and they're most likely going to have to punt this one away.
So after the big promising play that time, they are backed up once again.
Now keep in mind the punter is also the quarterback for McKeesport.
Tywan Smith is the man, and he gets it back. It's going to be over the head, and it looks like a nice bounce. If McKeesport can down it, did he down it though? I think I don't know if he touched that line or not.
They're going to mark this one inside the 1 yard line here, Greg, and what a punt there by Smith, and great job of the coverage unit to get down that ball at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, on that stop was Tyron Bynum. He's the one that ends up stopping the play there. Some of the top athletes in the WPIAL are featured every week on the MSA Sports Center stage, which you can view on our YouTube page. Log on our website this fall at msasports.net and check out which athletes we are talking to. Plus, our weekly game lights are also now featured here on the MSA Sports Network. And we're going to get a timeout here for Plum.
And this is an interesting situation, Greg, when inside deep in his own territory. I talked to a head coach earlier this week. They referred to this as the white zone offense. When you're pinned inside your own 5 yard line, you have specific plays just to try to make sure you get the ball out safely, and ultimately the goal is to pick up at least 1 first down. For the Mustangs, with under 2 minutes remaining here, they just want to make sure that they're able to punt this ball away with almost no time left and don't give McKeesport much field position. Obviously, if they can pick up a first down for the Mustangs, that would be ideal, but you just want to make sure you don't get tackled in your end zone, you don't turn careless with the football. It's very difficult when you're pinned this deep in your own territory because you really don't have the same setup for your typical plays. Everything's much closer, and the defense can get in the back, but much easier.
Take some time off the clock and take a lead into the half. That's a big goal here, I'm sure, for Plum. Don't forget, each month this fall, programs will be recognizing an Athlete of the Month in boys and girls soccer as well as football for their play on the turf. September's first in turf athletes were Ben DiNucci of Pine Richland for football, Emma Haskell of Upper St. Clair for girls soccer, and Adrian Bayema of Winchester Thurston for boys soccer. October ballot will be posted on Monday, October 27th at msasports.net. And more in a moment here as we get the snap. And a nice run on first down. Picking up a couple of yards was Coxon. If you have a suggestion for who would be considered for this month's ballot, let us know at info@msasports.net. Again, info@msasports.net. The ballot will be posted on Monday the 27th.
They called that one a 2 yard gain, so not much yards there for the Mustangs. Looked like it was going to go for more, but nice job by a trio of McKeesport Tigers, including Tyrone Bynum, that made a nice stick tackle to keep the Mustangs pinned deep in their own territory.
But they get out away from that 1 yard line, so Plum here is going to try once again to keep it out of the end zone, and a nice run up to about the 5, maybe the 6 yard line that time. Once again, it was Coxon.
You mentioned that's a big 3 yards there that Coxon was able to pick up.
So it's now a 3rd and 5. That'll be coming up.
As we expected, a great pace of this first half. We have two teams that like to run the football. Not much in terms of incomplete passes, although the Mustangs did have a few early. The game really moves along quickly, especially if there's not too many penalties. We've seen a few, but not too extensive on either side.
Also, the Plumbers Insurance. We believe in smarter coverage at Plumbers because the more you know, the better you can plan for what's ahead. Find your local agent, Cal Simmons, at 724.
Don't forget, everybody likes to jump on the high school football bandwagon, but we are more than just a one-trick pony here at MSA Sports. Log on to msasports.net daily to follow all the WPIAL fall sports, including boys and girls soccer, as well as our hometown girls volleyball coverage with matches and our weekly volleyball show on Monday nights here at 7 p.m. on the MSA Sports Network.
And also a reminder that coming up at the half, it's the MSA Sports Halftime Show. This week, Don Rebel and Mike White of the Post-Gazette co-host another edition of Excuse Me and at Pittsburghese. How'd I do with that accent?
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're not from Pittsburgh, right? No, not at all. Actually, Plum.
Hey, don't tell anyone.
I'm sorry. 3rd and 5 coming up with 53 seconds to go here in the first half. Handoff inside once again. They will keep them short of the first. And McKeesport will once again call a timeout to stop the clock.
Yeah, I got to call this one right down the middle, Greg. But I could tell you firsthand, as I said, the buzz is something that really for Plum football hasn't been really for quite a while, several years. This is a team that really struggled over the last several seasons. Matt Morgan in his second year has done a great job turning this program around. 25-game losing streak. They snapped that in Week 10 against Greensburg-Salem in an exhibition game where both teams agreed to play all underclassmen. But a lot of those underclassmen really benefited a lot from that victory at the end of the 2013 season. They came out and won a convincing blowout victory over Hempfield in the first game here of the 2014 season. They've really carried that momentum from that point on. They dropped a few close contests, but they've been able to respond the last 3 weeks with 3 straight victories, and right now holding a narrow lead over McKeesport. And the winner of this one's going to have sole possession, second place in the conference.
For Plum, they have a big one coming up next week, too. Looking ahead, they're at Penn Trafford. So that's a big one to come. They have their loss in conference to Altoona, 14-11 game. Meanwhile, McKeesport, they've actually beaten Altoona 33-17, but they did lose to Penn Trafford 28-0. So in essence, with this win, if Plum can get the win, it could create a 3-way tie for second if everyone else carries through the rest of the season. With Penn Trafford being the top team, as Jordan Payne's going to receive this punt, and he's going to get roped down. We got multiple flags on the field, though.
Yeah, blocking the back on McKeesport, that was pretty apparent. So that's going to back up the Tigers probably to right around midfield.
Joseph Krim was the one that got the, or excuse me, I'm looking at the McKeesport side. Nicholas Pop Rocky was the one that got the stop for Plum.
The Mustangs did what they needed to. We talked about the White Zone offense just picking up enough yardage to be able to get a punt off safely and try to keep McKeesport at least close to midfield. Mustangs able to do so, and we'll see how far back the Tigers are going to move after this penalty.
Key penalty that time, too. The 3rd penalty for McKeesport. One thing to note so far in this first half, not a single penalty on Plum. So in addition to playing physical, hard-nosed, they're not committing any of the silly fouls that can always derail a drive or enhance your opponent's drive. As Smith is going to keep the football, and he's going to get hit for a loss on the stop that time for Plum. Michael Cimboli.
Mike Cimboli,
excuse me, and he's going to lose about 2 on the play. It looks like McKeesport is just going to be content with taking us into the half.
I mentioned without a really much of a passing game threat, it's going to be difficult to pick up more than 50 yards on 1 or 2 carries, and with the problems they've had with ball control, I think it's the right decision is to take this 3-point deficit into the half.
Plum 3, McKeesport nothing. That's where we are at the half. We'll step aside, recap this one for you from the first half, and we'll get it out to Don Rebel and Mike White. That's all to come. It is the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
UPMC Sports Medicine is the region's largest and most experienced center dedicated to caring for athletes of all levels. And as we celebrate more than 25 years of world-class care, we're proud to offer more services, have more physicians, and treat more student athletes than any other sports medicine provider in the region. Why would you choose to go anywhere else? To learn more, call 1-855-93-SPORT or visit upmcsportsmedicine.com.
The natural gas delivery system is extremely safe. Leaks do occur on occasion. People's Natural Gas would like to remind you to use your senses, smell, sight, and sound to detect the warning signs of a natural gas leak. If you believe there is a natural gas leak, leave the area immediately and then call your natural gas company's emergency service line or dial 911. These lines are available for natural gas emergencies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Visit peoples-gas.com to learn more. This message is brought to you as a public service from Peoples, your hometown natural gas company.
The history books are filled with the names of great athletes and great teams from Western Pennsylvania. They share stories of great victories and stunning defeats, but they all have one thing in common. They know the championship season is the time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank, proud sponsor of the WPIAL and the best high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. First Commonwealth, time to be first.
Hi, this is Heinz Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive WPIAL playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
Attention.
Welcome back here to Plum High School. Greg Warnock alongside Sean Meyers for the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
.55, and then from that point they're able to kick it through from 41 yards out. Chapala was able to kick home the field goal. That is the only scoring. The Mustangs up 3-0, nearly 6-0 as you mentioned. They really have the weapon in terms of the field goal, and so far their defense deserves a lot of the credit, forcing those turnovers and ultimately keeping a very explosive offense from McKeesport at bay.
Plum's defense has been impressive here in this first half.
Well, obviously, McKeesport mentioned the turnovers. They have turnovers, had a few other ones. Ball controls are critical for this offense. A lot of times, you maybe go a little too complex with your plays and maybe try to present too much in terms of your misdirections and reception. Maybe try to simplify things a little bit. Lee Hudson hasn't the ball nearly as much as I expected. They used an array of different running backs, and obviously have a lot of guys that go off of it. But Hudson has run hard ones out there on this offense. He also gives you that very nice passing game. Maybe try to use Hudson a little bit more to give the Mustangs what to think about in terms of maybe him turning the football down the field as well. And with the Mustangs, I think they're doing a very nice job. One thing we've noticed, the issue's really been with the exchange. The center of the quarterback is pure. They're signal ball several times.
Turnovers, but if they have any turnovers here in the second half, clinging to just a 3-point lead, it could be the difference in this contest.
One other thing, too, I thought really helped this Plum offense and how they got their field goal is bringing in Andrew Soxman. Brought him in out of that Wildcat. He had 4 carries, 13 yards is what he's picked up, but those were big yards in that drive that got that field goal.
Yeah, you mentioned Soxman. He's done a nice job. He's kind of overlooked with this offense for Plum, as Kevin Brown had an explosive game a few weeks ago. We obviously talked about Coxon and the job he's done. But when you look at Andrew Soxman, they bring him in primarily to play Wildcat when they give their quarterback fewer a break, and he was able to pick up that big first down. It's a different look for this Mustangs offense, and one that McKeesport struggled with at least a few times that the Mustangs used it in that first half.
You look at some of the first half numbers, and we'll first talk about Plum. Will Furr has only went 2 for 5 passing for 11 yards. He's also had the 3 carries, minus 25 in total, but 2 of those were broken plays. Coxon has 7 carries, but only 14 yards. He also has a catch for 4 yards. Soxman has been their biggest, one of their biggest weapons, though, with those 4 carries for 13 yards. Ashton Teeter has a catch for 7 yards, and Nathan Turchik has a run for 4 yards. No turnovers and no penalties for Plum in this first half, but they did have a sack on defense. When you look at the other side for McKeesport, Tywan Smith, 5 carries, minus 12 yards here in this first half. And then for Cromarty, he has 6 carries for only 2 yards, as well as a pair of turnovers. For Khalik Hudson, the guy that's been the story for McKeesport as far as offensively, he's got the completed pass for 40 yards, and then he has 9 carries for 65 yards. So all told, 105 yards of offense coming from Hudson, and that 40-yard pass went to Jordan Payne here this evening. 2 turnovers, 3 penalties, and the sack that they did pick up on Furr.
This is a guy we mentioned. He's now surpassed the 1,000-yard rushing mark on the season. He's getting tremendous attention from Division I schools. He's already garnered offers from teams like Pitt, drawing attention from Penn State. A lot of those teams are looking at him as a linebacker, but we mentioned the high school level, especially now in his junior season. He's been absolutely terrific in terms of running the football, and I think that's the guy that he almost always picks up positive yards. And we've seen so many negative plays, whether it be penalties, turnovers, or big losses on attempted runs by McKeesport. Hudson really hasn't had that issue, so I would favor using him much more in the second half of him. Head coach George Smith, I think he's really a guy that he's proven to be a workhorse, and he's really been the best offensive weapon they've had by far this evening. Great, so I expect to see a lot of Khalik Hudson in the second half.
Well, we'll get it out to World Headquarters, where Don Rebel and Mike White of the Post-Gazette are standing by as they have another edition of Excuse Me in That. That's coming up here for our halftime show. It's 3-0. Plum leads McKeesport. Let's send it out to Don Rebel and Mike White. Take it away.
Stretch run beginning this week of the 2014 regular season. Welcome to the halftime show here on the MSA Sports Network. I'm Don Rebel. Mike White of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette is here. And it is week 7. And it's become... No, I don't want... I'll do it. I want to get you're a little under the weather. So I don't want you touching the professor's bell.
Okay.
Professor's he's one of those germaphobes.
All right, get to the topic here, Mr. Rebel. I'm playing my heart out for you.
He is. He's playing injured.
Playing hurt.
That's right. Well, you start us off.
Our subject?
Yeah.
Is you never even
wait, it's not even the show. That's right. As the host of the show, the rules are we bring up a subject. Mike and I will give our opinions. Some of them are the same, some differ. It's called
Excuse Me
in That.
Okay, excuse me now. We do it once a year.
Yes.
Some hot topics around the WPIAL football.
And none are hotter than
Brett Brumbaugh.
He is.
This is about quarterbacks. Ready? Here we go. He set the WPIAL record last week for passing yardage in a career and also touchdown passes in a career. Now, Mr. Rebel, I ask you, in light of that, who is the best high school quarterback from around here that you ever saw? Yeah, you have to have seen him play.
Have to have seen him play, and I'm a little limited being back here in World Headquarters on a Friday night, but
you see a lot in the playoffs.
I would probably say, just off the top of my head, not having a list in front of me, I'd probably say Terrell Pryor, the great quarterback out of Jeanette. Not only could kill you with his legs, he was a great runner, but he also was pretty good throwing the ball. Had a cup of coffee in the NFL. And from a leadership standpoint, let me throw Tyler Pelko's name out there.
Good one. I'd put him up there. I might tend to agree with you. Not the best pure quarterback, but as far as on the high school level, dominated over 4,000 yards passing and rushing. Terrell Pryor. But I'm going to throw another one. He didn't have the luxury of playing as many games as Terrell Pryor and didn't have the luxury, of maybe going far in the playoffs. There were no state playoffs when he played. But I'm going to tell you, Major Harris from Berkshire in the city, not in WPIAL, really good. And I saw Dan Marino play, but I was only in high school, and I didn't really realize how good he was. And what people don't realize is how he could run when he was.
And he really didn't throw the ball that
No, he didn't throw for like 2,000 yards in a season, maybe like 1,500. So that's that.
All right.
Next question.
Plus, he didn't have to go up. Well, Major Harris did go up against the Vaughn Langley defense 4 times in his career. Good.
The Rebels. Number of teams in the playoffs, Mr. Rebel, 16. Too many?
No. We've talked about this before, Mr. White. 16 is fine. It makes for more excitement in the regular season. These final 3 weeks, weeks 7, 8, and 9, even teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, they're playing for something. Very few teams are eliminated this early. And you know what? Say you're an average team, you get into the playoffs, it's something you could brag about.
I say, excuse me in that, Mr. Rebel. I used to think there were too many. I don't think that went anymore in the last couple of years. That makes for some real bad playoff games, but there was always a third or fourth place team that does something well in the playoffs, even a fifth place team. So I have come to your side.
Come to the dark side, my friend.
That being said, excuse me, Mr. Rebel, that it says also, I say, excuse me, season is too long. They need to do something, but they can't figure this out. Still playing state championships in a state like Pennsylvania in December 15, 16, 17 is ludicrous.
You don't like the decorations that they put up at Hershey Park
ridiculous.
Stadium?
Only California, Texas, and a few others are playing at that time. Ridiculous.
Take your wife up, and as you enter the press box, there's the holly under.
Move on. Do you know holly? Move on.
That's right. All right, why don't we take a break?
Okay.
With more. Excuse me in that. When the halftime show continues on the MSA Sports Network.
The history books are filled with the names of great athletes and great teams from Western Pennsylvania. They share stories of great victories and stunning defeats, but they all have one thing in common. They know the championship season is the time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank, proud sponsor of the WPIAL and the best high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. First Commonwealth, time to be first.
The team at S-Mark takes great pride in the company they've built and their growing presence in Pittsburgh. Strong values, steadfast dedication, and unwavering commitment extends well beyond the walls of S-Mark facilities into virtually every facet of our local communities. From ongoing support for critical health and human services for families and children to youth sports and recreation programs. It's the many faces of S-Mark that touch lives, instill hope, and provide opportunities to enhance and enrich the world around us. S-Mark is proud to extend its support of local communities through its sports sponsorship with the MSA Sports Network. When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends on both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the synthetic turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as the FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today, 866-270-6003, or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
The history books are filled with the names of great athletes and great teams from Western Pennsylvania. They share stories of great victories and stunning defeats, but they all have one thing in common. They know the championship season is the time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank, proud sponsor of the WPIAL and the best high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. First Commonwealth, time to be first.
Week 7 edition of the Halftime Show continues here on the MSA Sports Network. Dawn Rebel, Mike White. We are playing an exciting edition of Excuse Me, Nat. Feel free to play it at home with your family.
No, do not try this at home.
Oh, okay. So, warning. All right,
next subject.
Clarendon has put up a lot of points this year. They could be headed toward a WPIAL record for points scored.
Yes.
Too much?
And the big question, are they running it up?
Yeah.
Are they running? I'll go and say, I haven't seen them play. Tough to say without being in it, but come on. When some of your starters and main guys are still in the game in the fourth quarter, Dawn, I don't know. And also, look at the box score. Now, there are some other reasons behind this. Throwing a pass when you're up by 50 in the second half for a touchdown, throwing another pass when you're up by 58 for a touchdown. Can we, I'm not saying they're running up, but can we look at Aliquippa, how many times Mike Zmianek, they figure out a way when they're up 40-something, nothing at halftime, to keep the score in the 50s in the second half. Look at George Novak a number of times, those guys. They find a way.
It is impressive what they're doing. Because
I agree.
You get into those running clocks, and I've had my share of Saturday running clocks. It's time goes by really quick, and for you to keep scoring.
Well,
yeah, Wayne Wade told you, he said, we're not going to take a knee to embarrass other teams. And I'm not, again, I haven't seen them either, so I can't really make a comment. But I will say, if that fullback's going 80 yards every time you give him the ball, stop him.
But he's not.
Not all. Sometimes he is.
He is sometimes.
Sometimes. All right. Next. I don't know. You got it.
Coaches, we've had 2 coaches quit in the WPIAL.
Yeah.
Or resign, I should say.
Yep. That's right. Choose your words carefully.
Yes. In this year already. One of them after only a couple games, another one a week later. Mara Mons of Carleton and Ron Coder of Cannon McMillan. Mr. Rebel,
yes.
Is it too hard for coaches nowadays?
Too stressful, too much time. I mean, it has become a 12-month job. Also, the fact that everything you got to deal with school boards and parents especially, it's just too much. A lot of pressure. And unless you're established,
Mr. Rebel, excuse me, Nat.
Yes.
I agree. It is tough nowadays.
It is.
But even talking to a few coaches, I've even done a story on this of how coaches don't stick around as much as they used to. But you know what? I think some of the coaches are too soft.
Ooh, what?
And I truly mean that. You know what you're getting into when you take the job. There's going to be, it's year-round. There are parent things. You know what you're getting into.
Soft.
And the family reasons. And I understand sometimes, but come on, be a little tougher, I think.
They're soft.
Last one. We see a lot of blowouts, especially in single A, maybe even in double A, Mr. Rebel.
Yeah, yes.
Some teams really struggle year after year after year. The haves and the have-nots, the gap is bigger. Should there be more co-ops? We're not saying mergers of schools.
No.
Should there be more co-ops of teams keep their school, go together with another small school?
More competitive football. Why not? I mean, right now you got
say
kids.
Yes, there should be.
I say there's no question, yes.
Yeah, we're not talking about schools because they want to keep their own identity. I say yes also. I think it's come for that time when you see so many rosters with 15, 20, and they're getting blown out year after year after year.
You're just trying to make it through the season. What's the point of that, right?
You lose your identity, though, a little bit.
Yep. So,
okay.
We lost Geibel this past year, so.
Did you find them?
That'll do it. Anything that annoys you real quick?
In high school football?
Yeah.
It's still, I've seen it. It's still out there. 4. What is that? Where did it start? It still bothers me. Oh, no, they're doing the 4. They're starting the 4.
Tell you what bothers me is when Mike complains about the 4 every other year.
It still bothers me.
Enjoy the second half of the game you're listening to on the MSA Sports Network.
Always enjoy the halftime shows from Dawn Rebel and Mike White. Let's get you some scores from around the WPIAL, and in particular in this conference, the Foothills Conference. Not much updates, to be honest with you. We had the early game. We have a game that's full of running the football, Sean. So we get the quick game. No score in the first quarter between Latrobe and Hempfield, and no scoring updates between Kiski area and Altoona and Norwin and Connellsville. Penn Trafford's in a non-conference game against Shaler, and also no scoring update in that one.
48 seconds ago, so.
Here we go, Penn Trafford 21-0. Not really a shock by any means against Shaler. Penn Trafford, one of the top teams in the WPIAL. From around the area, Franklin Regional leads Greensburg-Salem 21-0. And how about this? Non-conference, AAA versus Quad A. West Allegheny 17, Woodland Hills 7.
Yeah, that's a surprising one. Although, you know what? I don't want to say it's surprising because those are the two top teams, and either one of them certainly had a great opportunity to win that game. There's still a lot of football left to be played, but the AAA team coming out of the gates looking impressive early. So another quick scoring update for a local team here. Penn Hills trailing Bethel Park 7-6. That one's at the end of the first quarter. Penn Hills only had 3 offensive plays in the first quarter, though, so expect that one maybe potentially to change over the next 3 quarters.
That Woodland Hills West Allegheny game, by the way, just about a couple of minutes to go in the second quarter. So check out the website that we are updating every second. Number of guys back at World Headquarters, guys and gals, I should say, updating the scores. It's m.scores.msasports.net. And we'll have all the updated scores from around the WPIAL. We're going to step aside for a timeout, and when we come back, we'll be getting you set for the second half of this game between Plum and McKeesport. It's 3-0. Plum is leading as we head into the second half. It's the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
Business owners and marketing managers. MSA Sports Network offers a cost-effective way to expand your advertising efforts, increase your bottom line, and promote your brand and services in the communities you serve. Offering you flexible marketing plans with numerous multimedia combinations, the ability to target your local customers within a 5 to 10 mile radius of your business, industry exclusivity, available via sport, season, community, or region, and outstanding return on investment with all MSA Sports sponsorship opportunities. MSA Sports Network represents the most efficient and effective ad placement in the broadcast industry. To learn more about advertising opportunities on the MSA Sports Network, contact Glenn Anderson at 412-362-2000, extension 2225, or ganderson@msa.com.
The team at S-Mark takes great pride in the company they've built and their growing presence in Pittsburgh. Strong values, steadfast dedication, and unwavering commitment extends well beyond the walls of S-Mark facilities into virtually every facet of our local communities. From ongoing support for critical health and human services for families and children to youth sports and recreation programs. It's the many faces of S-Mark that touch lives, instill hope, and provide opportunities to enhance and enrich the world around us. S-Mark is proud to extend its support of local communities through its sports sponsorship with the MSA Sports Network.
MSAsports.net is the place to click on every day this fall.
On Mondays, we have the latest MSA Sports Top 10 football rankings.
Tuesday is a look back at the biggest and best plays from the previous school.
Receive the football first in the first half, so Plum will be receiving here in the second half. And when you look at how the first half came about, Plum, if they could put together a long scoring drive here on this opening drive, it would eat up a lot of clock, and that would put McKeesport in a hole.
Well, keep in mind, though, the Mustang offense really hasn't got much going. Their 2 field goal attempts came because of turnovers that the defense forced from the Tigers deep in McKeesport territory. Plum has not done a great job in terms of moving the ball, picking up first downs. Their quarterback, Fuhrer, has struggled to connect on his passing attempts, and he's been sacked several times as well. But right now, the Mustangs are doing a good job defensively, and they're claiming their 3-point lead. We'll see if they try to add to it here.
And it will be Soxman on the return, and a pretty decent return up to about the 32-yard line to start things off.
Yeah, Soxman's a guy that's been impressive. He's a senior. It seems like they're trying to find different ways to get the ball in his hands. Listed as a wide receiver. We mentioned he plays out of the Wildcat. However, he was successful doing that in the first half, and a nice kick return there as he gets the ball out to the 32-yard line for the Mustangs to start this second half.
So it'll be first down and 10 for Plum. As Furr's going to have a receiver to his left and a receiver to his right. And he'll bring one in motion here on first down. Looking to throw. Looks to his left. Fires out into the side, and it's going to be incomplete. It was in and out of the hands that time of Nathan Turchik.
And Turchik, that one's one he should have been able to catch. Not probably a big gainer, but he would be able to pick up some positive yards. Instead, he drops it the second time. Fuhrer's put a pass on the money, and his receivers have not been able to help him out.
He has a nice play out in the flat. I mean, he wouldn't pick up first down yardage, but I think he at least gets 5 or 6 on that play.
Right, and that allows you to open up your playbook so much when you're able to get up to a 2nd and 5, a 2nd and 4, as opposed to a 2nd and 10 situation that Plum currently faces.
Second down and 10 in the shotgun. And we're going to see a handoff here, and a huge hit by McKeesport. Ball comes out. And McKeesport looking like they have recovered, and they have.
And I think that was Tywan Smith, Greg, that was on that hit, as you mentioned, an explosive hit there. And a turnover, and this is going to prove costly. And
that was Kevin Brown on the run, and he just got popped. Big turnover that time. We talked about Plum maybe be able to control this game with a big drive. How about a big play by the Tigers?
And again, I believe that was number 5, Tywan Smith, that exploded through and put that hit on Brown. Whoever it was, a great play there from McKeesport, and they're going to have an opportunity to kind of do what the Mustangs did to them in that first half, is the Tigers taking over at the 24-yard line of the Mustangs territory.
Tywan Smith takes over under center, 2 receivers to his left, and he's looking to throw. He's downfield, wide open is Hudson, touchdown. No one's seen him break out into the flat on the right side, and Hudson goes for 24 yards in the score.
Yeah, we say this team doesn't throw the football much, but when they do, it really catches the opponent off guard. This time the Mustangs not prepared for that, and Khalid Hudson making a nice athletic catch on the throw from Smith. And I like the fact that McKeesport takes a shot at the end zone after creating a big play and forcing the turnover on defense. They take a shot immediately on a pass, and Hudson able to haul it in for the 24-yard score to give McKeesport its first lead very early here in this second half.
Extra point coming here for McKeesport. Caleb Shork, and it's blocked. So it'll be 6-3. McKeesport leads Plum. And we're just 24 seconds into the second half. Back with more in a moment. You are listening to the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
East Suburban Sports Medicine, leaders in physical therapy, will help you get back into the game. Feel better, play better, live better. Our focus is on your results. East Suburban Sports Medicine. Take it from me, Bill Hillgrove. It's the best care, hands down.
Back here at Plum, Greg Warnock and Sean Meyers. Tonight's game is brought to you by East Suburban Sports Medicine Center. Feel better, play better, live better. Can you imagine the first 24 seconds of this quarter going the way it has, Sean?
Well, this is exactly what McKeesport needed. They get the big play on defense, and they turn that defense into instant points. As the first play from offense, they throw a 24-yard pass. Hudson hauls it in. Like I said, I love the idea of taking a shot deep, trying to get points immediately after causing the turnover, because you have momentum on your side. That time it paid off for McKeesport. They now have a 6-3 advantage.
And on the return, it is Soxman once again to be brought down, that time by Tyreek Sales.
And now it's up to the Mustangs offense that had very little going in that first half. Now they have to try to respond, Greg.
Yes, they do, as they'll take over at the 30-yard line. We'll
see what they have in them here. First down and 10. And this is Soxman. Mentioned he had success in that Wildcat offense, and it's a low snap, goes in between his legs. He's got to fall on it. It's going to be about a 12-yard loss.
Yeah, once again we see an issue. We talked about that at half, how that was plaguing the Mustangs in the first half. Those long snaps from the center to whether it be Fuhrer or Soxman back there deep in the shotgun, and they have not been on target. It's led to a couple negative plays for the Mustangs. That one's going to go for a big loss of 12 yards.
Spotted at the 19, so we'll give him a loss of 11 on the play. And Kerr comes back under center, and it's going to be a spread offense here. 3 receivers to the left and 2 to the right, and we're going to see a flag come in.
So Mustang player loses his helmet. It's Philip Marr. See what the call is. It looks like it's a pre-snap penalty potentially on the Mustangs, and indeed it is. So it's going to put the Mustangs once again even further back behind the sticks after the big loss on the first down. Tack on 5 more yards in the wrong direction for Plum.
Yeah, their first penalty. So they went without a turnover and without a penalty in that first half, and just 1 minute in, they've had one of each. And now it's going to be a second down and 26 here at the 14-yard line. Fake the handoff and looks nice. Pitch out by Farr, gets it out to Coxton, and he's going to be able to get near the first down sticks. He took a huge hit. He had 3 guys right in front of him, including Justice Smith. But he was able to get the football out in a big play.
You mentioned great job there by Fuhrer. He's a pretty big quarterback. I played basketball against him this summer. He has a lot of size and muscle for a quarterback, and he did a nice job fending off the would-be tacklers just long enough to pitch it out to his running back Coxon, who did a nice job turning it up, picking up some positive yards. It's still going to be a difficult situation here for the Mustangs, and we have a flag here on this one.
Yeah, I want to see. It's going to be coming back.
It's going to be a face mask on the Mustangs, I believe, was the indication, which is interesting how the offensive team, and maybe it was potentially hands to the face. You see that called a lot in the NFL now, where the offensive linemen are getting their hands right up into the helmet area of the defensive line, but that's going to negate a really nice play by Fuhrer and Coxon and back the Mustangs up even further, and this one's going to be almost impossible, even though it's only second down. When you look at the distance they have to go, they have to get out to the 40-yard line, Greg. They're on their own 11.
Looks like they got about 13 yards on the play and then march them back 15. And is now looking to throw his Fuhrer once again. It's going to be a little bit behind his intended target that time, as he was looking downfield for Ashton Teeter.
At that time, Fuhrer's throw not on the money. Wasn't going to pick up a lot of yards, but when you're facing a 2nd and 29, you just have to find some positive yards. And now you're thinking about this 3rd down. You're just trying to give yourself a little bit better field position in order to punt this football away, because right now we mentioned the Mustangs deep in their own territory. All the momentum just this quickly, less than 3 minutes into this second half, has gone in favor of the Tigers.
So it's 3rd down and 29 from the 11-yard line. Fuhrer back to throw once again, and he's close to getting sacked. He gets the football away after he gets drilled. And now things are getting a little chippy as he took another hard shot.
His teammates helping him up. I'm going to wonder if they're actually going to call him down. He was clearly in the grass, but as we mentioned, he's a pretty strong quarterback there. He's listed at 6'3", 190. And he's strong enough to stay on his feet to be able to throw the football away. It looked as though there was a receiver close enough that it wouldn't be called an intentional grounding.
That's amazing he got that ball away, considering how many guys were draped all over him. But it will be a 4th down upcoming with 9.5 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And now a referee's timeout, looks like.
Yeah, the play clock's showing 0. So I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to take care of, is the...
They've had some issues with the play clock.
9:30 on the clock. 9:30.
Yeah, they're actually adjusting the game clock as we we heard here it's going to be now 9:30. We're showing 9:27. Maybe a little confusion, as we mentioned. It was not exactly clear if it was going to be called a sack or an incomplete pass. They ultimately did call it an incomplete pass, so I give credit to Fuhr for just being able to get that one away. But the Mustangs are going to have to punt this one, and McKeesport should have good field position.
And a high booming punt. Fielded about the 47. Dodging a couple of hits, but maybe getting about a yard. A flag comes flying in. It was Cromer D.
Nice job there on the punt, but as we mentioned, even though it was a very nice punt, McKeesport still going to have the ball potentially inside the Mustangs territory, depending on...
Depends on the flag. I think it's going to be back in up McKeesport. Cromer D was able to dodge a couple of tacklers, but was unable to break free. First penalty on McKeesport. So instead of being on Plum's side of the field, they're on their own at about the 43-yard line, first down and 10.
We saw one play so far on offense for McKeesport in the second half. It was a 24-yard strike. Smith to Khalik Hudson. We'll see if they try to get Hudson heavily involved on the ground again here. He had a lot of success, Greg, you mentioned, in that first half. Did you hear the Mustangs fans getting into it?
Pitch out to Hudson, gets up to the 45, 50, drops his shoulder and picks up the first down. Nice hard run that time by Hudson.
Yeah, and Hudson, as we mentioned, he's a linebacker naturally, but he's doing a great job playing running back, and he kind of plays it like a linebacker. He loves to put that first hit on the defensive player. That time he broke it to the outside, delivered the blow to pick up enough yards to move the sticks and get it first down for the Tigers.
So give him 12 on the run.
And you can see why so many colleges are paying attention to this junior. As we mentioned, he's already received offers from schools like Pitt. He's already garnered attention from Penn State. 6 foot, 202 pounds at the start of the junior year. You have to figure by the time he's leaving high school, he's probably going to be much bigger than that.
Looks like a broken down play. And it's going to be a play that's going to end up for a big-time loss. It was on the run. It was Hudson. And on the stop was Andrew Soxman.
Yeah, and he nearly broke that one outside. Good job by Mustangs on the second effort. Initially, Hudson tried breaking it, but you mentioned Soxman. We called his name offensively. That time makes the big play on defense to knock Hudson for a big loss. That's a 7-yard loss on first down and a big play, much needed for this Plum defense.
Second down and 17 coming up.
And I think not only you and I, but the fans can sense this is a critical drive here for the Mustangs defense. They need to find a way to come up with the stop.
Yeah, especially the way McKeesport has responded out of the gates here in the second half, as Hudson once again is going to get it, and he breaks out right, gets back up to about the line of scrimmage, so he'll get those 7 yards back, but it'll still be 3rd and 10 coming up.
And it looks as though the McKeesport simplified their offense, at least in the early going here in the third quarter. They don't have as many trick plays per se, just looking to get it in Hudson's hands. Obviously the one pass was successful. Now they're giving it to him out of the backfield. He's picking up chunks of yards on the ground with the exception of that one nice play by the Mustangs defense. It's going to be a 3rd and about 11 now.
See what McKeesport has in his bag of tricks on another 3rd and long situation. Smith looks like he's may keep it himself, decides to get it out, and we're going to see a couple of flags, maybe 3 flags come in. Cromarty ends up getting the football and picks up about 9 of the 10 yards he needed.
I think that might be on Hudson.
Actually got 11 of the 10 yards he needed, so he'll have enough for the first, but there are so many flags. They got to sort it all out here around midfield. 3 different flags were thrown in.
Yeah, and this one obviously going to go against McKeesport, assuming the officials all saw the same thing and there's not multiple penalties. They're making the signal now that it's going to be backing up the Tigers, and they had a nice play design there, Greg, but it doesn't really matter when you commit a holding penalty to negate that first down run by Cromarty.
We'll have 3rd down and 22.
So he had enough for the first, Sean, but the penalty brings it back. 3rd and 22 coming up for McKeesport. Smith looking back to throw. He's got to wiggle and dance, and now throws it deep downfield. 3 guys back there deep, and it goes incomplete. He was looking for Dion Webb. Number of Plum Mustangs, including Soxman, were back there for Plum on defense.
I see McKeesport taking a shot downfield, knowing that they're facing a 3rd and 22 situation. That time, Smith not able to connect with Webb, and it's going to force a punt here. One thing to pay attention to, we mentioned the quarterback punting always gives George Smith some different options. Remember, the one snap to Smith was not very good. He did a nice job athletically reaching up to grab it. So this has to be a snap that's on target for McKeesport here. They cannot afford an errant snap. And I think they're going to have to take a timeout here as they had a man coming on the field late.
So as they take the timeout, we will as well. Back with more in a moment. It's the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
Books are filled with the names of great athletes and great teams from Western Pennsylvania. They share stories of great victories and stunning defeats, but they all have one thing in common. They know the championship season is the time to be first. First Commonwealth Bank, proud sponsor of the WPIAL and the best high school athletes in Western Pennsylvania. First Commonwealth, time to be first.
6-3, McKeesport leads Plum. Here as we have 7:09 to go in the 3rd quarter. Don't forget tonight's game is brought to you by East Suburban Sports Medicine Center. Feel better, play better, live better.
I want to thank everyone that's watching the game tonight as well. Selected as one of 2 games for the Spotlight Game of the Week. As well as I believe it was Avonworth and North Catholic Cardinal were also back-to-back weeks for you and I, Greg. Certainly glad that everyone's get to tune in and watch this one.
Just barely missing the block punt is Plum that time. And it was fair caught by Leighton Cuello at the 28-yard line, so that's where Plum will take over. It was such a narrow vote and so many votes as well. We thank everyone for voting online.
Yeah, just an astounding number of votes, and it was so close, and I think this game actually ended up having 3 more votes, but MSA Sports Management deciding to do both games to reward all the fans that voted.
Jody Zinkerly Cook was knocking on doors around her neighborhood to see if everybody could vote for Plum. Just kidding, Jody.
Not really, though.
First down and 10 from the 28. And a big sack comes in for McKeesport. Going in untouched was Tymar Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton with a great play there as he exploded through the line. And this defense of McKeesport's really picking up their intensity. They are flying around right now as Sutton explodes through the line and absolutely drills Fuhrer for a big loss. And right now this Mustang defense is going the wrong direction on all their plays here, Greg. I don't think they've had a 2nd and short situation in quite a while.
Sack by McKeesport. They've had a lot of pressure. Only their 3rd sack on the night. But the pressure has been there. As now the running game trying to get going for Plum and nowhere to go. A big stop that time for McKeesport. As
that was Bynum.
I want to see who was rushing the football there for Plum. They covered up the rusher so quickly. I think it was Coxon. But yeah, that was a huge play that time for McKeesport and Bynum.
And this defense, as we mentioned, they did a great job really limiting the Mustangs offense in the first half. It was really the fact that Plum took over with great starting field position twice that allowed them to try those 2 field goal attempts, one of which went through. But give a lot of credit to the job the Tigers are doing on the defensive side.
And now Soxman comes in to try to run the football, and he may have got about a yard. And a big 3 and out by Plum where they only went backwards.
Yeah, Davon Brown again in on the tackle for McKeesport. As this is going to be once again, this is very similar to the last drive for the Mustangs. This is going to be punting from their own 10-yard line. McKeesport again going to have an opportunity to start inside Mustangs territory.
And low snap, just barely getting it off. And it's going to bounce at about the 35-yard line. And then take a nice roll out to about the 47. It did touch a Plum player.
Yeah, that hit a Plum player, and I'm wondering if they're going to maybe move this one back to about the 40 or 35-yard line. As we'll see if the officials confer here. That definitely hit a Plum Mustang. They didn't intentionally try to hit it, but I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, just because it was such a hurried kick.
Yeah, this one might actually end up coming back to about the 35 if they decide to.
Give Zach Nolan credit, though. He had to scoop that one up in a hurry and try to get it off. And, yeah, it looks like it will be at the 35-yard line. And there's not much to argue with that one. I mean, it definitely hit one of the guys looking to make the stop for Plum.
It definitely did, but it's going to be a good break here for McKeesport. 4:53 remaining in this quarter. They're holding a 6-3 advantage, and now they're going to be starting on the 35-yard line of the Mustangs.
Smith under center. He will hand it off to the up man this time. And on that carry was Taylor Anderson. Gets about a yard.
First time we've called his name this afternoon, or this evening rather. But a local scoring update. Gateway and Indiana deadlocked 8 points apiece.
Give him 2 on the run, actually. Taylor Anderson. Doesn't see a lot of action. He had 9 carries for 90 yards and 2 scores coming into this game. And now it looks like Smith's going to keep it himself. Nowhere to go.
I think he may have made the wrong decision here. I think he should have handed it off to the initial man. The up back decided to hang on and try to break it to the outside, and he's going to end up, looks like, being stopped for no gain. Once again, this is so difficult in these third and long situations for McKeesport, Greg, because they really don't have that passing game. It's hard to pick up 8 yards on a run when the defense can dial in and pretty much say decisively that it's going to be a run. Although McKeesport has struck for a few long passes in this contest. Typically not their bread and butter, however.
6-3, McKeesport leads. 3rd and 8. Pitch out to Hudson. Cuts back. Going to the left, trying to cut up the middle now.
What a play.
Makes a man miss up to the 20, to the 15, the 10, and brought out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Absolutely incredible individual effort there by Khalid Hudson. He created that one entirely on his own. Safe to say that there was no running room. The play was designed to go to the right side. He reversed field and was able to dodge a few tacklers and then showed his strength as he got all the way down to the 3-yard line. What a run.
Good for 30 yards. Nathan Turchik is the one that brings him down out of bounds.
And that's the sign of a great player right there, Greg. Nothing working. The rest of his team was trying to help block for him, but they weren't able to create any room on that right side, and he completely reversed it on his own and took it all the way down the far sideline from where he started and gets it down to the 3-yard line.
Under center, 1st down and 10. Smith is going to hand it off inside. And in for 6 with the touchdown is Tymar Sutton. His first carry of the night goes for 6.
Yeah, and a nice play there. Smith got absolutely drilled, but he made the right decision to give it to Sutton as he's able to get into the end zone in McKeesport now. Thanks to that incredible run by Hudson that set up a 3-yard touchdown, has taken a decisive 12-3 advantage.
Circle that play by Hudson, too. I think that could be the one difference maker.
Pair of touchdowns in this 3rd quarter already for McKeesport after being completely shut out in that 1st half.
Shork on for the extra point, and it will be blocked again, but did it get across the barn? It did. Extra point good, 13-3. McKeesport leads Plum. It's the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center game of the week here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends on both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the synthetic turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as the FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today, 866-270-6003, or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
Back here at Plum, 13-3. McKeesport leads with 3:09 to go here in the third quarter. Short set the kick off.
What a difference this second half has made. It looked like the Mustangs defense was just playing great football in the first half, and just as quickly here in the third quarter, McKeesport gets in the end zone twice.
Field over to the 20, up to the 40, to the 50, inside McKeesport territory and down at about the 36-yard line. A big return that time for Plum, and that was Nick Robb.
And that's a big one because if nothing else, it gets the crowd back into this one, Greg. It gets the Mustangs sideline fired up. And even though the defense has already surrendered a pair of touchdowns in the second half, now the offense is going to have an opportunity as they're going to be starting in the 36-yard line of McKeesport.
Big time run by Robb, and see if Plum's offense can respond.
Got to get positive yards on first down. That's going to be absolutely critical here.
And it will be Soxman. Wildcat offense, he'll keep it himself, and he does get positive yardage. Big run up to the 29. Pick up a 7.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe go to that Wildcat offense more often because Fuhrer's been absolutely under duress when he drops back to pass. He's been drilled for big losses so many times that he really hasn't much of an opportunity to even get the ball out and try to throw downfield. So when they get the Wildcat, that gives him an extra blocker, allows Soxman to immediately rush forward towards the line of scrimmage and maybe at least pick up 2 or 3 yards at a time, although he got 7 on that first down carry.
And we'll see what Soxman can do here with 2:15 to go. Can he keep the offense moving? This time it's a run by Coxon, and he may have got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
And now you're starting to see the Mustang offense look a little bit like the McKeesport offense in terms of they're going to become fairly one-dimensional if they're going to run the ball out of this Wildcat offense. Soxman without Fuhrer in the game very often. So both teams really can gear up to stop the run until someone proves that they can hit the big pass. We mentioned McKeesport with a pair of big strikes. Plum really hasn't got that passing game going so far.
Well, yeah, they cannot go drop back to pass. I mean, I think that was evident by their last 2 drives. Good adjustment here by Matt Morgan. And it's faked by Soxman. He gets drilled. Absolutely drilled that time. Josiah Allen is the one that made the big hit.
Yeah, they're also going to say that Javon Shears was in there on the tackle as well after Allen makes the initial stop, and looks like the Mustangs are going to try once again for another long field goal here. Chappell is really getting a chance to showcase his strong leg tonight, Greg.
Yeah, he absolutely is. His 3rd long field goal coming up. This one will be from 47 yards out. Kick is, he ends up getting hit on the play. And it's going to be a roughing the kicker call. Hitting him on the play was Sean Robinson. It was a low kick because of it.
Man, McKeesport, the Tigers, distraught right now. They got a great job, did a great job getting in there, applying pressure, but ultimately made contact with the kicker. Are they going to say that's the 5-yard variety? Because it'll be interesting to see if that is the 5-yard penalty, if that'll be enough to pick up the first down, because it was listed at 4th and 5 on the scoreboard here.
It will be, because the sticks were at the 26. Ball should be spotted at the 25.
And indeed it is a first down, so by whatever means necessary, the Mustangs were able to keep this drive alive. And talk about circling critical plays, that one absolutely crucial right there. Looked as though McKeesport is going to get the ball still up by 10, but the penalty is going to allow the Mustangs to keep this drive alive.
Back in is Andrew Soxman with that Wildcat offense. He will again run it right up the gut.
He got absolutely drilled, Greg.
He got about a yard on the run before he got popped.
How impressive is this McKeesport defense? They certainly hit hard. They've given up almost nothing in terms of yardage throughout this entire contest. Taken the Mustang passing game completely out of this one, and they've done a nice job defending the run as well.
Be interested to see how much rushing yardage Plum has for the entire game when this is all said and done.
Through 3 quarters, as we're closing down, less than 10 seconds remaining here in the quarter, it's safe to say not a lot.
Final seconds clicking off. Will Plum get another snap off? And we're going to get a flag, actually, with just 2 seconds to go in the quarter. See what the call is.
So maybe going to be a timeout instead?
Yeah, it will be a timeout instead. So we'll stay here. Get you that final play coming up at the half. MSA Sports is proud to be working with Project Irreplaceable. Project Irreplaceable is a community service initiative to raise awareness of the value of early detection of breast cancer. The campaign asks students to let the important women in their lives know how irreplaceable they are, reminding their moms, grandmas, friends, and other females in their lives that they should take a few minutes to do a self-exam. To learn more about this important, life-changing initiative, click the Project Irreplaceable graphic on our website or go to www.projectirreplaceable.com for more information.
And we want to remind you the WPIAL boys and girls soccer playoffs begin next week. Tune in Wednesday night for the WPIAL soccer playoff pairing show at 6 o'clock. Then exclusive coverage of the 2014 WPIAL soccer playoffs start next Saturday, only here on the MSA Sports Network. I know I will be doing some soccer. Will you as well, Greg?
I probably will not.
No.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
They're breaking up the A team.
2 seconds ago, Soxman fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, looking downfield to pass, and then decides to tuck it and run. And he may have got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So that'll take us through the end of the third quarter. It is McKeesport 13, Plum 3. Back with fourth quarter action in a moment. It's the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Don Rebel, inviting you to log on each Wednesday night at 7 o'clock for This Week in the WPIAL, only here on the MSA Sports Network. Join me along with other MSA Sports members each week as we talk to head coaches around District 7, plus run down all the high school football action and preview the top games for the upcoming weekend. That's This Week in the WPIAL, Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock, only here on the MSA Sports Network.
Life is about having the confidence to know you can do anything right. I get that at Carlo.
I graduated with top awards, but beyond the classroom, Carlo helped me learn a lot about myself.
Carlo brings out the best in you.
I know I'm going to be a fantastic nurse.
I know whatever I come across, I'll be prepared.
I can't think of a better place to start the rest of my life, because at Carlo, I know I matter.
I matter.
I matter.
Enroll at Carlo University. Visit carlo.edu.
Back here for fourth quarter action on the MSA Sports Network. Greg Warnock alongside Sean Meyers, 13-3. And first back under center, he's going to keep it himself, tuck it and run, and he's going to pick up about 2, maybe 3 yards before he is hit down by Josiah Allen.
And now you have to expect the Mustangs to once again try a field goal. They were fortunate last time Chapla's kick was low. He really never had much of a chance with a couple of players coming hard off the edge in his face, but he was run into, kept the drive alive, and the Mustangs able to pick up enough yards to make this one much more manageable field goal. This one's going to be 39 yards for the junior kicker.
And the big kick is up. It's long enough. Is it good? No. His second field goal that was long enough, but was just short.
Yeah, and that one's critical because it remains a 2-score game now. If Mustangs were able to put that one through, it would have brought their deficit, trimmed their deficit to 7 points, but now they continue to trail by 10, and it's going to be difficult the way this McKeesport defense is playing. You have to feel almost right now, Greg, that this Mustang defense is going to have to try to create another turnover that allowed them to get momentum and get some points on the board in the first half.
So with 11:15 to go here in the fourth quarter, it is 13-3. McKeesport leads Plum. McKeesport would love to put this game away, considering how well their defense has played. A handoff inside up to the 25, down about the 27-yard line. Gleek Hudson on the run. Nick Robb on the stop for Plum.
And with the way that Hudson's been running, I really don't understand why they didn't feature him more in that first half when the offense was really struggling. Obviously, I know McKeesport likes to get multiple different guys involved, but Hudson's been just downright beastly tonight with some of these runs. Seems as though he's never stopped by the first or second player, and when penetration does come from the Plum defense, he's able to reverse field, take it the other way, and pick up positive yards as he got 6 on that one.
Second down and 4 coming up here for the Tigers. Handoff again to Hudson. Gets upfield, gets up to the 30, down to about the 32-yard line. So picks up enough for the first.
Yeah, was able to use that spin move at the end of the run to get across that first down marker, as you mentioned, keep this 6 moving. And McKeesport now with a 10-point advantage in the fourth quarter. It's all about ball control, using the clock, making sure they do not allow any more turnovers as they turn the ball over twice on fumbles in the first half. If they continue to do that with the way their defense is playing, they're going to position themselves a great opportunity to come out of this one with a road victory.
Successful drive, obviously a touchdown, but not at least to eat up most of this clock, as now we're going to flag and it'll be whistled dead. Sutton was going to be the ball carrier.
I mentioned, Greg, this is really an interesting story with McKeesport. Since George Smith returned to the sidelines last year, they have 2 losses. Both of those losses have come at the hands of Penn Trafford. No other team has been able to knock off the Tigers. You figured Plum had a really good opportunity tonight. They looked great in the first half, but so far the Mustangs have really struggled in the second half. McKeesport's taken control.
That's a 7th penalty on McKeesport in this game. Compare that to 2 for Plum. Always intrigued by the number of penalties, because I feel like once you get into that highway to Hines, those penalties can cost you your season.
Penalties and turnovers as well. As we saw, the ball control has been an issue. That's a recurring theme for McKeesport, but they have to be careful to hold on to it here.
Handoff inside, and that will go to Sutton. And he picks up about 2, maybe 3 on the carry.
And they're still going to be behind the original line of scrimmage after that 5-yard penalty was enforced.
2nd and 12 coming up.
I mentioned the pace of these McKeesport games is incredible because they run the ball so much. We're only at about 8:50 right now, and we're about 9 minutes remaining in the entire contest.
Smith keeps it himself, and he's going to get some positive yardage.
I know a lot of times people don't look at it this way, but when a game's moving at a much quicker pace, it really tests the stamina of a lot of these players. You don't get as many breaks in terms of the incomplete passes where you can catch your breath, things of that nature. So it tests the stamina of both teams. Certainly it's something McKeesport's used to. To mention, the game that I called when they lost to Penn Trafford was probably the quickest football game at the high school level I've ever called. This one's on pace to be a pretty quick one too.
Pick up a 4 for Smith. Pop Rocky in on the stop for Plum. 3rd down and 8 coming up with 8:15 to go here in this football game.
Plum needs to come up with a stop here defensively.
Looking like they'll pitch it out to Hudson. Hudson was going to cut back field, but he lost his footing. And right there in on the stop for Plum, they actually had a pair of guys in on the stop. It was Irvin as well as Crossy.
He mentioned that pitch a little too late to Hudson. He got absolutely drilled as soon as he caught it. He almost had to give himself up to avoid a big blow as Irvin and Crossy came flying in there, and that's a big stop for Plum. So you're going to get the ball back now. It's going to be about 7 minutes and 20 seconds by the time this punt is released. Remember, they need 2 scores, trailing by 10.
Smith on the punt. It's an end-over-end kick. Fielded at about the 43-yard line by Crossy. He gets up to about the 48 before he gets hit by a gang of tacklers. Breon Green in among the stop for the Tigers. And with 7:22 to go, Plum will take over. Don't forget, coming up after the game, it's the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show with Dawn Rebel and a cast of thousands from the MSA Sports Control Center with all the scores from Week 7 of the 2014 WPIAL football season. Plus, Bob Orquist and Brandon Showers joined on the roundtable. Don't miss the WPIAL Football Scoreboard Show after the game, only here on the MSA Sports Network.
Just to recap what is at stake here, both these teams 4-1 in the conference behind 6-0 Penn Trafford. Whoever prevails tonight will be in sole possession of second place.
Pure's going to come back under center and look. The throw gets hit as he throws, and it is high in the air, and two McKeesport Tigers around it, as it was Hudson as well as Robinson. Neither one comes down with it.
Yeah, it looks like Hudson was lining that one up, and I think his teammate Robinson a little over-aggressive there, maybe not communication, and he bumped into Hudson, knocked the ball away, basically served to make that one incomplete, and ultimately the Mustangs catch a break. And I think Fuhr was hit on the initial throw. That's why it came out of his hand pretty wobbly. As we mentioned, he's had very little time back there in the pocket. Trying to take shots downfield, but you got to have a solid offensive line protection in order to allow your receivers to get that deep down the field.
7:16 to go. Fuhr looking to his right. And now he's got to try to come back left. He's got so much pressure in front of him, he just throws it away as he was out of the pocket. So 3rd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, now if you're head coach Matt Morgan with the Plum Mustangs, do you try to pick this up? You got to get 10 yards. It's very difficult to do that running the ball against this defense. Do you try to pass again and put your quarterback under duress, knowing how quickly the Tigers have gotten to him off the edges and up the middle?
I think what, for Plum, a couple of passes that have worked is those passes in the flat.
Right.
Or 2-3 yards out, and then the catch, they haven't caught them, but if they catch them, they might pick 5 or 6 yards. I think this is 4-down territory too, by the way.
I think you might be right about that with just over 7 minutes remaining in this contest.
Pass is right over the middle, but it's incomplete. There's a good play design that time for Philip Marr, but just unable to come up with it. And it's going to be 4th down.
And we'll see what Matt Morgan likes to do here. Looks as though they're going to keep the offense on the field, and this is, even though there's still a lot of time left, you get the feeling this one's a make-or-break play for the Mustangs in this game.
7:06, you have 3 timeouts. But one thing is that McKeesport is going to run the football, and you need 2 scores. See what they can do here.
I'd look for Crossy here. He's been a great receiver all season. He struggled tonight. Maybe give him one more chance to make a big play.
Looking down to his right, and pressure's on. He jumps out of one tackle, ball's on the ground.
It's not going to really matter at this point because it's going to be turnover on downs, even if the Mustangs did recover that one.
Looks like Plum may have held on to it. Lost about 3 yards, but just like you mentioned, it's not going to matter much. And their woes continue here for Plum, as now McKeesport will take over.
Well, you could kind of see this coming as the first half progressed, that the Mustang offense wasn't going to be able to move the ball very well tonight. The question was McKeesport going to be able to break through? And they've been able to do so. A pair of touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, and now with control, it really favors them because a team that can run the football with success and eat up clock certainly has a great advantage when they get that margin in terms of the lead. So 10-point advantage for McKeesport now under 7 minutes. They're looking just to keep this one on the ground and churn out some yards, pick up some first downs, and keep that clock running.
Smith under center. Different setup this time as a flag comes in. 3 receivers to the left and a back behind him, being Hudson.
Delay of game.
13-3. McKeesport leads Plum with 6:57 to go. Don't forget, if you're looking for other scores from around the WPIAL, check out MSA Sports on your mobile device at m.scores.msasports.net.
I have a feeling a lot of people are checking out the score for this game, especially maybe the people that are Penn Trafford fans. As we mentioned, if Plum finds a way to come out on top, their contest against Penn Trafford would be for potentially the section championship. Though McKeesport trying to make sure that does not happen.
Timeout for McKeesport. We will keep it here. MSA Sports wants to see your game day smiles. Just go to the game or broadcast page for the game you're at. Select the Add a Photo option in the upper right hand of the screen and select the photo you want to upload. Your photo may then appear as one of our spotlight photos on our homepage.
And speaking of those Penn Trafford Warriors, 49-3 their halftime advantage over Shaler. And we also want to remind you, don't forget to tune into This Week in the WPIAL on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Join us as we visit with some of the top WPIAL coaches, plus we preview Week 7 of the WPIAL football season.
So a lot going on here around the network.
Once again, first down and 15.
And also want to remind you, tonight's game is brought to you by East Suburban Sports Medicine Center. Feel better, play better, live better. First down and 15 coming up for McKeesport from the 48-yard line, their own 48, with 6:57 to go. Pitch out to Hudson again, another flag, and looks like they're going to be coming back here once again.
And this is not what McKeesport wants here. And it's going to be a false start.
The 9th penalty on McKeesport here tonight.
Greg, I don't know if you've had a chance to see Penn Trafford this season, but I did in their victory over McKeesport. They're very impressive, and they're just a team that really doesn't make any mistakes. They're solid in all areas, and for both these Plum and McKeesport teams, Plum's about to face them. McKeesport already lost to Penn Trafford. And right now you get the feeling really these teams are vying for second place because Penn Trafford looks like they're going to be untested as they head into the playoffs from here on out.
Yeah, they're going to run away with the Foothills Conference as we get a handoff up across the 45 and a fumble. And does Plum take over? I think they may have. Looks like McKeesport has taken over. It was Kyrique Sales on the run.
And once again, really have to wonder why they're going away from Khalik Hudson. He hasn't had any issues with ball control tonight. It's been the other players. And I mentioned that's one thing that McKeesport cannot afford to do right now is put the football on the ground. That's really going to be the best opportunity the Mustangs have to come back is if they can force a turnover defensively. Nearly were able to come up with that one, which would have given them the ball inside McKeesport territory. But as you mentioned, a good job by the Tigers to ultimately get the ball back. It's going to go for a big loss, but I think they'll gladly take a loss as opposed to a turnover.
Actually end up gaining 2 on the play. 2nd and 18 now. Smith looking deep downfield, fires, and it's way over the head of his intended target that time, Jordan Payne. And Andrew Soxman got a hand on it, but unable to come down with it.
Yeah, Payne's a very good receiver, but didn't really have a chance to make a play on that one as an errant throw by Smith. And you were correct, Greg, the 2-yard gain, and that's because it was a pair of penalties that backed up McKeesport 10 yards behind the initial line of scrimmage. So this is not the drive they were looking for. They haven't taken much time off the clock.
Well, and I understand why you want to go for that play, go for the kill, first down, maybe a touchdown play. But you got to get the clock rolling. So I'm surprised they went with that play instead of just going back to the ground game. Even if you go 3 and out and punt, you've at least taken off another minute to a minute and a half off the clock.
Especially because that was much closer to being an interception than it was to being a completed pass.
They'll go back to the run here. And it will be Smith on a quarterback keeper up to the 40 to the 35. He's got enough for the first down.
And that one had me fooled. I thought that Hudson was getting it up the middle. Smith making a good decision to keep it and break it to the outside as he rumbles down the near sidelines. And that's going to be critical because he gets enough yards to pick up the first down. That was, I believe, a 3rd and 18 situation. He was able to pick up enough to keep the sticks moving.
3rd and 18 picks up 21 yards. And with 5:47 to go, a huge first down for McKeesport. Ends up going out of bounds, which stops the clock, but they start back over. First down and 10. Smith will hand it off inside. And a nice push to about the 29-yard line. Tymar Sutton.
They're going to call that just inside the 30-yard line. So you mentioned they would pick up nearly 6 yards there in that first down run. Right now, the clock, the biggest enemy for the Mustangs, is it's going to be ticking down to 5 minutes here momentarily.
If memory serves me, I believe Plum still has all their timeouts here in the second half. Smith will hit the handoff this time to Hudson. And he's going to have more than enough for a first down as he was pulling the pile all the way down to about the 18-yard line.
Yeah, he runs hard. We talk about his strength, nearly 200 pounds, but the other incredible thing about this kid, he runs a 4.5 40. That's why he's drawing interest, as mentioned, from Penn State, and already has received offers from Pitt and WVU at the linebacker position. Could you imagine a linebacker running a 4.5 and have the ability to light guys up with his power and strength and explosiveness as well?
So give him 10, first and 10 at the 19-yard line. And this time the handoff is going to be going to Cromartie.
Another solid gain on first down for McKeesport.
By number 7, Billy Irvin.
Irvin in on the stop. He's had a good game defensively for the Mustangs, but they're going to have to find a way to get off the field here as McKeesport continuing to run this clock.
Cromartie's going to get 5 yards.
Though the clock has stopped here, I'm wondering. Now they are going to run it. I don't know why it was temporarily stopped there, but McKeesport has to feel pretty good about this drive here. There's Smith making a big play with his legs on that third down to keep it going. And they're now inside the red zone.
Second down and 5. Hand off to Hudson. Nowhere to go that time. Nice job by the Mustangs defense. And among the stops for Plum that time, Dante Bernardi.
I did a nice job breaking through the line of scrimmage, hauling Hudson down, which is not an easy task in itself.
Maybe Nathan Turchik out there as well on the stop. Nathan Turchik, in fact, who made that play, as it's 3rd and 5 coming up.
Give you a break on that one, Greg. It's very difficult to pick up these numbers for the Mustangs.
25s and 28s are hard to read out there. Black uniforms with purple numbers makes it tough to see. As it's going to be a run by Smith, and they're saying the ball came loose, but I think he may have been down before the ball popped out.
Yeah, it was the Mustangs saying that ball came loose, not the officials. I think you're right. Smith just kind of looked like he was just lunging forward with the ball, and I'm wondering if maybe it came out when he hit the turf. But either way, they're going to say it's a 4th down situation. Right now, the Mustangs are not going to have much more than 2 minutes left if they do come up with a stop here.
Yeah, about 2 yards on the play for Smith.
This drive started at 6:57 in this fourth quarter. We're down to 2.5 minutes now.
4th and 3. Smith keeps it himself. He's going to get it into the end zone. Not only the first down, but the touchdown. Flag is down, though, on the play.
And I'm thinking this one might come back based on the reaction here. We'll have to wait for the call, but if it does stand, it'll be a 12-yard scoring run by Smith, which would certainly seal the outcome of this one.
Yes, it is on McKeesport. This is the 10th penalty on McKeesport in this game.
And you mentioned, Greg, that really could separate a very good team from a great team. The fact that McKeesport's had 2 turnovers and nearly had a few other ones, and the fact that they've committed so many penalties here this evening, some of which nearly were very costly. Remember, they gave the Mustangs a second attempt at a field goal because of a penalty of running into the kicker. Ultimately, it did not cost the Tigers, but they've dodged a few bullets here. Almost had a fumble in their own territory in the second half as well.
So it'll be 4th down and 9 coming up from the 18-yard line. Smith back to pass, fires to Hudson, and it is caught.
What a
touchdown.
catch. incredible catch. It looked like the defensive back had a play on it. Hudson went up, and I think the ball might have been deflected. I don't know if it hit off of the defensive back or Hudson's own hands initially, but he's going to haul that one in for an 18-yard score, and that's going to be the proverbial nail in the coffin there as McKeesport gets the big score when they need it. A long sustained drive ends with 6 points, and they now take a 19-3 advantage.
Taiwan Smith has completed 2 of 4 passes tonight, both of which to Khalik Hudson for 24 yards and 18 yards, both of which 4 touchdowns. And it's 19-3 with 2:17 to go, and the extra point by Shork is up and good. It'll be 20-3. McKeesport out in front on Plum. We'll step aside for a timeout. Be back with more in a moment. It's the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
East Suburban Sports Medicine, leaders in physical therapy, will help you get back into the game. Feel better, play better, live better. Return to your activities quickly and safely. East Suburban Sports Medicine. Take it from me, Bill Hillgrove. It's the best care, hands down.
20-3, McKeesport leads Plum with 2:17 to go. And Plum will be receiving the football. Don't forget, coming up after the game, it's a WPIAL football scoreboard show with Don Rebel and a cast of thousands from the MSA Sports Control Center with all the scores from Week 7 of the 2014 WPIAL football season. Plus, Bob Workwitz and Brandon Showers join Don on the roundtable. Don't miss the WPIAL football scoreboard show after the game, only here on the MSA Sports Network.
4 minutes and 40 seconds on that last drive from McKeesport as they're able to take it the distance, get into the end zone.
They had a 3rd and 18 play with picked up 21 yards and a 4th and 9 play that picks up the 18-yard touchdown. Up to the 30 is Soxman and brought down at about the 37-yard line. But those were the 2 big plays, Sean, of that drive. That 3rd and 18 and then the 4th and 9.
Yeah, absolutely right. That 3rd and 18 where Smith kept it himself and looked as though he was giving it to Hudson up the middle. He decided to break it to the outside, got just enough. The 21-yard gain using his legs to keep the drive alive, and then ultimately Hudson able to get the touchdown at the end. But the big thing, obviously McKeesport loves the fact that they were able to get 7 points on the board. They used so much clock, as we mentioned, nearly 5 minutes taken off of the clock. That's going to leave the Mustangs with just over 2 minutes to try to drive here.
Pure is going to look to pass here, and once again feels the pressure, has to step up in the pocket and just dives out for a couple of extra yards. He may have got about 5 on the play.
Yeah, needless to say, this is going to be very difficult to try to string together 17 points, but the Mustangs are going to have to try to take some shots down the field. The problem is, Fear has the arm for it, but he just doesn't have the time back there. He's constantly under pressure from this fast and aggressive McKeesport defense.
Minute and a half to go here in the 4th quarter. Hand off to Coxon, and he's going to get up close to the first down. Then he lost the football. McKeesport comes up with it. And he's up past the 30 to the 25, up to the 20. Devon Brown trying to get in for the score. And did he get there?
I saw a flag come out. I'm thinking this might potentially be coming back at least on some of the yards of the return. I think he did get brought down just before the goal line.
Coxon had enough for the first, but he was pushing to pick up some extra yards. And that's when he fumbled the football. So we'll give him 7 on the run. And turnover by Coxon.
You can't blame him for trying to pick up extra yardage knowing the situation, but opportunistic defense there from McKeesport. And how impressive has this defense been the entire contest? We mentioned just a 1 long field goal for the Mustangs, and that really was a result of the McKeesport offense turning the ball over, giving the Mustangs great starting field position.
Only 3 sacks and 2 turnovers forced, but it's been pretty impressive. And another penalty backs it up all the way to the 31-yard line, so that's where McKeesport take over. But Devon Brown was there ready to scoop up the football and make the play for McKeesport.
Yeah, nearly, as we mentioned, got into the end zone. I think he was hoping for the touchdown, but sure, head coach George Smith is going to be happy just to get the turnover and the opportunity, most likely just to take a knee here and run this clock out.
And I'm wondering if they'll take the knee, and I'm wondering if Plum will use his timeouts. With 1 minute and 12 to go, they will have to hand the football off. Plum does have those timeouts to take, as dragging the pile is Tamar Sutton, and he's going to pick up a first down. All the way down to the 20-yard line, pick up a 12.
And a quick update also in the Foothills Conference, 7-7 is the score. With about 2 minutes left in the third quarter between Greater Latrobe and Hempfield area. Two teams near the bottom of this conference. We mentioned this was the battle for second place, and Plum really had a great opportunity. If they were able to find a way to come out on top here tonight, they would have been playing Penn Trafford for first place in this conference next week, but it's not to be for the Mustangs. Give a lot of credit for McKeesport, this great road performance.
And now they will take the knee with just 25 seconds to go. And that will do it. McKeesport 20, Plum 3. McKeesport will move on to be 5-1 in Foothills Conference, while Plum will fall to 4-2 in the conference. We'll step aside for our final timeout and come back to wrap things up. You are listening to the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
For the most complete recap of Friday night's WPIAL football action, tune in on your way home from the game to the MSA Sports Scoreboard Show here on the MSA Sports Network. Hi, I'm Don Rebel. Join me in the MSA Sports Gang for all the scores and recaps from the top games, plus the MSA Sports Roundtable. That's the MSA Sports Scoreboard Show after the game on Friday nights on the MSA Sports Network and at msasports.net. MSA Sports broadcasts are now available on both Android and iOS devices. Just navigate to the game of your choice, and on your mobile device, press the arrow or play button. It's that easy. No app needed. No matter where you are, MSA Sports content is available at your fingertips via your iPad, Android phone, iPod, and iPhone. Anytime, anywhere, always there. The MSA Sports Network.
Back here at Plum, it is a 20-3 final. McKeesport, your winner. McKeesport will move on to take on Norwin next week at home at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, for Plum, they'll be on the road at Penn Trafford at 7:30 next week. The game started off with a pair of turnovers by McKeesport, and Plum took a 3-0 lead, and that's what the score was at the half. In the second half, it's where really things took off. Within 24 seconds, McKeesport was on the board and never looked back, Sean.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a quick strike for McKeesport. They forced a turnover very early in this second half. Just 18 seconds in, they took over on the Mustangs' 24-yard line, and the first play that they ran offensively led to a touchdown. Khalid Hudson with a 24-yard reception from Tywan Smith. The extra point was blocked, but McKeesport took its first lead, one of which it would not surrender, 6-3. Later in that third quarter, it was Tamar Sutton on a 3-yard run. That came with 3:09 remaining, and the Caleb Short kick made it 13-3, but the key play there, an incredible run by Hudson. Looked like he was going to be stopped on third down. Reverse field, got all the way down to the 3-yard line of the Mustangs, and then Sutton was able to pound it in. In the fourth quarter, a long sustained drive leads to a score for McKeesport. The drive spanned 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Ultimately, it was Hudson, his second receiving touchdown of the contest. A deflected pass he was able to haul in the end zone over a Plum defender from 18 yards out. Smith on the completion there, and then a short extra point made it 20-3 McKeesport. That was all the scoring. 20 points in the second half for McKeesport, only 3 in the first half on a 41-yard Jacob Chaplin field goal in the first half for the Mustangs, but really give a lot of credit to the defense of the Tigers. They kept the Mustangs offense at bay all evening and allowed their team to stay in it, even though the offense was struggling for McKeesport in the first half. Once they started to get momentum in the second half and the defense continued their strong play, McKeesport really took a commanding lead, and they did not surrender it.
Adding up some numbers here, and my numbers may be wrong on this, but I don't think you'll be shocked by it, Sean. I was adding up the total yards by Plum as far as their players, and obviously they had a few sacks. I lost like 13 yards, but when all told, I have 11 total yards of offense.
You know what? I saw somewhere as I was perusing Twitter that they had 20 yards at the half, so that does not surprise me, because we mentioned how many times it seemed like they were facing a second and third and 15 or 18 yards here in the second half, as McKeesport's defense so impressive, and really give a lot of credit to the Tigers and the job they did defensively. I don't think it's the struggles of the Mustangs offense as much as it was the tremendous performance of McKeesport's defense, because when you look at Plum, this is a team that set a school record 65 points against Kiski area just a few weeks ago. They have a pretty prolific offense. You mentioned so many different guys succeeding in the running game. Coxon, Brown, and Soxman all were very impressive statistically coming into this contest, and they really had no running room. And for the senior signal caller, Will Fuhrer, he really had no time to operate out of the shotgun. He passed for 728 yards prior to tonight. I think he only maybe completed, 1 or 2 passes the entire contest. And give a lot of credit to McKeesport, as we mentioned. They were constantly in his grill, gave him very little time to operate. And when he did throw the ball, a lot of times his receivers are covered pretty well.
3 for 12 total passes.
Yeah, that's a tough night for him, and obviously maybe some bad memories for these Mustang fans of what the offense has looked like over the past couple of years. But in the end, you have to realize that Plum has made great strides just to get to a game of this importance, and give a lot of credit to head coach Matt Morgan in his second year, 1999 graduate of Plum. He went on to play with the Pitt Panthers and then a brief stint in the NFL with the St. Louis Rams and Buffalo Bills. He's an offensive line guy by trade, and I'm sure he's going to be very disappointed with the performance of his offensive line. As we mentioned, this McKeesport defense swarmed the quarterback all evening, and really the defense of McKeesport proved the difference maker in this contest.
Some numbers for McKeesport. First, we talk about Khalik Hudson. He ended up with a total of 206 yards in total offense. You figure he had 40 passing, he had about 42 receiving, and then the rest on the ground. 2 touchdowns. You mentioned the 2 touchdown catches by Khalik Hudson. And really the rest of the offense went through him, and he had a great game once again, as he always does here for the Tigers. It was their defense. So we talk about giving up 11 yards of total offense. They force Plum into 2 turnovers and 3 sacks as well. So a great job by the McKeesport defense. One thing to note for McKeesport, 2 early turnovers really could have cost them the game early had Plum been able to capitalize, and 11 penalties. That's something they have to clean up. They are playoff bound, let's face it, but they got to be able to clean up those penalties.
Yeah, they are playoff bound, as you mentioned, now in sole possession of second place, with McKeesport now improving to 5-1. Penn Trafford still the cream of the crop. They are undefeated as they're playing a non-section contest against Shaler, and they were up big at last check. But McKeesport 5-1, Plum falls to 4-2, and then you look at Altoona and Norwin. They were both 3-2 entering this evening. You talk about McKeesport, they pretty much cemented their spot in the postseason with this victory, and they have a lot of things that they've looked very impressive in doing tonight, especially on the defensive side. And as you mentioned, Hudson, even Tywan Smith had some very nice plays, especially with his legs. But the turnovers and the penalties have been costly, and I can tell you, dating back to the loss at Penn Trafford, those were issues that they were having going into those games as well, and Coach George Smith realized that. And with the offense they run, ball control is critical. If you turn the football over on some of those difficult pitches and those triple option plays, it could come back to cost you. It's a high risk, high reward thing, and certainly tonight it didn't cost them because they were able to prevail. But as we mentioned, they really struggled in the first half. Their offense got no points on the board, in part because of those turnovers and those penalties.
For McKeesport, next week they host Norwin at 7 o'clock, and then they close out the season at Kiski area at 7:32. Very winnable games for McKeesport, so you'd imagine they should be able to move into that second place spot for good. For Plum, they're going to be at Penn Trafford next week at 7:30, so another tough contest coming up for the Mustangs, and they will host Latrobe in week 9 at 7:30. So that's what's upcoming for the next 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of the regular season for these 2 teams, and should be a fun couple of weeks coming up here. But Plum's going to have a tough test next week against Penn Trafford. Your final score tonight, McKeesport 20, Plum 3. Don't forget to check out the scoreboard show with Don Rebel, as he's going to get you up to date on all the scores from around the WPIAL for Week 7 of the 2014 WPIAL football season. Plus, they have the roundtable, as this week it's Bob Orquist and Brandon Showers. From our broadcast partner, Sean Meyers. Also want to thank the fine ladies who got us up on the air video-wise, Jody Zangrilli-Cook and Jessica Levo. I'm Greg Warnock. Thanks for listening in. Your final score, once again, McKeesport 20, Plum 3. You have been listening to the East Suburban Sports Medicine Center Game of the Week here on the MSA Sports Network.
You have been listening to WPIAL Football 2014 here on the Management Science Associates Sports Network at MSASports.net. Sponsored in part by McDonald's, by UPMC Sports Medicine, by First Commonwealth Bank, by Carlow University, by Pro Grass, by East Suburban Sports Medicine Center, by Monticello's Restaurant, by People's Gas, and by Management Science Associates. You can follow the WPIAL football season each and every day by logging on to our website at www.msasports.net. The preceding has been a special presentation of the Management Science Associates Sports Network.